Welcome in the sewing room. So glad y'all are here and that you've joined me today in my sewing room. Love it. We're getting things accomplished today. We're getting lots of stuff done, trying to get projects caught up, and so we can start something new. Yes, I am. Y'all remember our dress right here that we thrifted? This is the skirt of it. Right here. This is the front top of it. This is the way it was. And this is the two pieces of the back that were elasticized, gathered up, smocked like. I pulled all that out, stretched them out, and now we got two bigger pieces of fabric. And we've got our front piece right here. And it's already lined for whatever reason if we need it to be. Or we can separate it because it's already been ripped out. So our skirt's what the main part that we're going to use right here. And I found this pattern right here that basically has a little top that you sew to the skirt. Our skirt's already made. We don't have to worry with that step at all. It's ready to go. We just have to make our new top. And the kicker is I got some red fabric, just red cotton fabric. Couldn't decide what color, but I put several different colors with it, and the red was what really just stood out to me. So I went with red. We want to make it look like it was made this way and it was supposed to be this way, not like we took something, cut it apart, and sewed it back together. That's a big thing of mine. When I'm altering anything or changing anything, it has to look like it was supposed to be that way in the very beginning. We can come in here and just make a red top with a red collar, just like this pattern says. We can do that. And it would still be a cute dress. But I like to take some of this and put up here to make it look like that we made the whole entire dress at one time. Okay? Therefore, it doesn't look like, hey, she thrifted that and just cut the skirt off or something and threw a top on it. No, we're going to bring some of our skirt fabric up to the top. So we're going to make our front and back lining pieces out of the red. Then we are going to make our collar out of this. See? Just like this. And then for another little added bit, this calls for a zipper in the back. I hate a dress with a zipper in the back because I can't put it on. I cannot get it on by myself. I don't like that. I don't know about you, but I do not like that at all. Because I don't always have the mister or the daughter or somebody here that can zip up my dress. Plus, a zipper makes it feel tighter and it just kind of would choke me. So I don't want to do that. So we're going to either put, and I haven't decided yet, and I'll decide in a few minutes, whether we make us a tie, just make our collar longer, and put a tie, just tie it in a bow or not. That would be precious because then this fabric will hang down the back. And that's what I'm leaning toward, or a button, depending on how much fabric we have left that we can do this. We may have to go with the button, but I really want to do the tie. Okay? So, got my pattern pieces. I only need these two, front and the back, and the collar. That's all we needed. We did not need the skirt pieces because, voila, our skirt is already put together for us. Yes, it is. And this skirt has a zipper in the back, right here. So we need to decide, because this was not big enough right here. This part right here was too small. I need to see exactly Number one, pull out a loose thread. See exactly where I need to cut this. Okay? And this needs to be, and it's going to be down here right at the zipper, the bottom of the zipper. I do believe it's where I'm going to need. Actually, may have to bring it on down. Find that center seam right there. It's going to have to come all the way down to right in here. To right in here. Okay? And this is our skirt, and this has got a slit. And y'all know I can't wear it if it's slid up to my bahoo-ho. No, I cannot. So, we are going to, first off, we're going to rip this out right here. This hem, it's just hemmed up right here. Turn y'all down so you can see it a little bit better. This is just hemmed up right here. Okay? I wanted it left longer, but it's not going to be, and that's okay. It's going to be a short dress. That's fine. First off, I'm going to rip this out right here, this hem section right here, and then I'm going to turn that, and I'm going to sew that seam up right up through there. Just like that, right up through there. I'm going to sew that seam. Okay? That's going to get our skirt completely ready. Okay? And then we will come back here and we'll cut out our top because we're going to have plenty of fabric for our collar if we have to cut it from here down to fit our pattern piece. And that's a plenty long enough skirt for me because I'm short. And if it's not, then we're going to take some more of our red and we're going to put it across the bottom. And then maybe another piece of this to make it longer. We're going to design as we go on this dress, you all. This is a design as you go dress. And I do not need directions on how to put this together. I'll just show you because I don't know how they put it together. But I know how I'm going to put it together. So, this is one of these sew along if you want to, or get some inspiration to go thrifting and find you some cute fabric. That's all I was looking for was cute fabric. And I actually looked and looked and looked for another dress just like this and could not find it. I've looked several places and cannot find another one. So, we're going to use the red and we're going to pull some of this to the top and put some red at the bottom, and it's going to be just as precious as it can be when we're all done. So, y'all hang tight there while I rip out this back, whatever I did with it. Right here it is. I'm going to rip this out. Then I'm going to put it pretty sides together and I'm going to seam that up. Okay, I've been sitting here playing with pattern pieces, thinking about this, figuring this out, and I've come up with a new plan. This is what's called designing, okay? When I lay my pattern pieces on my skirt and I bring them down to where they need to be for my size, I can almost cut these pattern pieces for my front and my back out of my dress, out of my skirt. Almost have enough to do that. But not quite. So, I've devised a new plan. We'll still have to cut our linings out of the red, okay, for our front and our back. It'll still have to be out of the red. I can cut the back pieces and the front pieces out of the print. But to make it a little bit longer, just because I want it a little bit longer, my skirt to be longer, I'm going to put a strip of red right here around about 3 inches. Just about like that, about a 3-inch strip right here. Okay? We're going to sew that to the bottom of our front pieces. Our collar and our tie will be made out of red. Yes, it will. And that makes us a longer skirt, which is kind of what I wanted for this dress. And if you'll look right here, I've got enough fabric to cut this just like this. But do you see this little piece? No, you don't. You can't see. You see this? Here's my seam. This is all I have for the back right here. This is the front. You see this right here? Where that comes over to that? I need some fabric. So I'm going to put a red collar. Then I'm going to come in here and I'm going to cut another piece right here. It's going to be red. It's going to come in here and come down this side right here. And then it'll come around the waist. And I hope this is going to work. Okay? We're going to do that on the front and the back. Because see, this one comes over here. We're going to cut, our collar will go here, and then around our armholes, it will be red. Just like a red strip, and then down the side. I'll have red here and red up around the armholes and the neck. Okay? So we're completely remaking this. And then our ties will be red. Okay? And that gives us our skirt's going to be longer. We have to cut our collar out of the red. All right, so are y'all ready to do this? I am. So I'm going to bring this up here as high as I can get it. Okay? As high as I can possibly get it. And then I'm going to cut this in like this. And then I'm going to cut this extra piece out of the red because this will cut in here. All right. We have a plan. Do you think it's going to work? I don't know either. But we have a plan. And we're going to see if we can get it to work. Okay? And our back is already kind of put together right here. So let's bring that over our seam allowance. Because, you know, we don't need to put that seam in there because it's already there. Okay. All right, let me get our pieces cut out and I'll bring y'all back when we start putting it together. Okay. Good grief, y'all just lost your head. Went sideways on me. Let me straighten you up. Get you cinched up there getting tight. All right, now then, maybe you can hold your head up now. I've cooked supper. We've had our supper. You know, it's poured the rain again. It's now almost 9 o'clock. And I'm up here trying to finish this dress and this video for y'all. And then I've got research to do on more, and I got another dress and shorts to make tomorrow. Just busy, 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 busy. I'm just a busy little bee. So, with all that being said, let me show you what I did. Okay? Out of the top part of our skirt, I cut a new top. Right here. See, this is the back. This was our center seam of our skirt where I took our, I'll just pull the pattern piece off here so we can take a look at it. I've added me a seam allowance around these pieces because the way I fixed them, they did not have one. Okay? Here's my back. I took advantage of the seam that was sewn right there already. And right up through here, I'm going to leave that open so I can get it over my neck. Okay? I'm just going to stitch right down through there. A little bit further because I'm going to leave it open so I can get it on over my head. Okay? Now then, I'll just top stitch that down on both sides. So I've taken advantage of that. You all, the only thing I can think of when I'm doing something like this is that movie Pretty in Pink with Molly Ringwald, where she takes that old dress and makes her a new prom dress. Anytime I'm taking something apart and remaking it, I think about her making the prettiest dress. I do. All right, so this is our back, and I'll stitch that straight up. Our collar will come on here, and we'll tie that into a bow, okay? But we're going to leave this open. All right. Then I cut another back. Then I cut these pieces. I don't know which was the back and which was the front. I don't. I think this might have been the back. Looks like it. This is the back. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to sew these on. I'm going to open this up and I'm going to sew this on here, pretty sides together, which this is just a solid red. It really does not matter. Right like this, okay? All the way around and all the way down this side. Put me a seam right here. And y'all, I just kind of cut this willy-nilly. It's not perfectly cut. Just kind of is what it is, as they say. And so we're just laying this down here because I cut some seam allowances in it. And so we're just going to come in here and sew this on right here. Open this up, and that gives us our side of our red all the way down the armhole, okay? So let's do that step. And y'all, I'm going to do this with my serger. If I need to top stitch something, I will take it back over to the other machine. But for the most part, all of my seams, I'm going to sew, make sure I got plenty of thread, with my serger because it just sews prettier. Gives you a good finished seam. And I typically do not pin things if I'm using a serger. I just try to put them on here, get my foot pedal. You know, they tend to walk away. And I'm just going to start sewing this. You want to be careful not to stretch this around this curve because it will stretch and it is nicey. Then we're going to come down here and sew it right straight down through there. All right, see that? Then we're going to turn this right out here. Well, I was hoping that it would turn. That turned. Let me rethink this a minute, y'all. Needs to come all the way out. That's just going to let me turn that back under. Yes, it is. We do not sew that. We do need to sew that. Did we sew the wrong side? Did we need to sew this inner side? I think I sewed the wrong side. We're going to try that. We're going to take this out and sew this inside. Okay? So I'll be back when I rip it out and then resew it. Okay, I got the back, but I want y'all to see how you can figure out which way to orient these pieces that you added on. Okay? So We need them right sides together, right? So we got our right side here. We're going to lay this down, and we want this to sew on right like this. Okay? Right like this is the way we want this to sew on there. Okay? So we're just going to turn it, flip it right here like this, and we know this sews on right down through here. Now I'm just going to stick a couple pins in there just to hold it. Same thing with this one. This is going to flip over, and it's going to sew right down through here. Okay? I'm going to go sew these at 1/4 of an inch, and you cannot do this on a serger because of this point right here. But this is going to be lined so it will be perfectly fine without being serged. Okay? Just want to sew this in here and then pivot it right here. You want to pivot, turn, I'll bring y'all over here. All right, here we go. I want y'all to see how to do this because you might need to make an inside corner sometime. All right, so here we go. We've got this lined up, 1/4 of an inch, all the way down through here. I'm just going to keep lining it up as best we can. I kind of cut that wonky, didn't I? Right like this. This right here, so you're just going to have to turn it as you sew it to line it up because it's a curve. And then you're going to bring this right here to this point. Right like that. And then you're going to turn this all the way around. You're going to pivot this right here, just like this. And pivot it down, okay? Just like this. And like I said, I left plenty of seam allowance on both of these when I cut them, so there'll be plenty. And so you turn that back, and that's what you've got. Beautiful. We're going to press that. Now let's do this side. We're going to turn it over this way because we need to pivot on that point right down there. Okay. Take this pin out so I can see what I'm doing. I just want to match this. Turn it and pivot. Okay. Turn that. Turn this. Oh, that's about the wildest looking seam I ever did sew. We're going to have to rip that out. So I'm going to turn it over this way and sew up because, you know, good Lord. I couldn't see where I was supposed to be sewing. All right, now then, let's take this little bit out. All righty, now then. Something's not right here. Maybe it's that one stitch. It's still holding that. So we need this to lay. There we go. Goodness gracious, you all. All right, now we're going to press it. Now then. And we're going to press this side. Right like this. All right, now I'll meet y'all back over here. Come along. Now then, I'm going to turn y'all off a minute because I got to think about how this goes together. All right, but didn't that make that pretty? This will be so pretty this way. All right, so y'all just hang on and I'll be right back with you after I think a minute. All right, now then we need to sew our side seams. Right down through here. Just this bottom portion, not the curve because that's our armhole. Just the side seams. On our lining, which is the solid red, and our outer pieces, which are the two-tone. Okay? So we're going to take the serger, and we're just going to serge these 4 seams right here real quick. There's that one. All right, there is our lining. Now let's sew this. And this. Okay? All right, now then, you're saying, and now what do we do? How do we finish this? I'm going to show you. We're going to put our lining. We're going to put them pretty sides together. So let's turn this one this way to where our pretty sides are together. Okay? And we're going to match this. Right here on the sides, if we can find the side. Here's our side. Goodness gracious, y'all. Right here. Match these seams right here. And we're going to sew this right up through here on each side. Okay, all the way up through here. On both sides. These armholes. And I think I can do it this way. Pretty sure that I can. And then you just clip it. Yes, you can. Sometimes I have to stop and think, especially if I don't have a pattern and I'm doing it on my own and making it up as I go along. Sometimes you have to stop and think. My daddy used to have a saying. He'd say all the time, you've got to go around thinking. And I grew up hearing that. So if you did something stupid, and we all do stupid things sometimes, he'd say, you got to go around thinking. You got to go around thinking. In other words, think about things before you do them and don't do stupid stuff, which we all do occasionally. We've all done stupid things. I've done way more than my share of stupid stuff. But I think that's how we learn. And that's how we grow. Is by doing stupid stuff. All right, I'm going to sew this. both armholes. This one and this one, okay? Right around here, both armholes. We're not doing the neck. Do not sew around the neck, just the armholes. Because the neck, we will finish when we put our collar on it here in just a minute. And then we'll sew our skirt back on it and it'll be finished. And it's going to be so stinking cute. Much cuter than it was when I first purchased it. Yes, much cuter than it was. If I do say so myself. All right, let's get these two seams sewn. There is one. Now let's sew the other one. I used to have friends tell me I ought to be on Project Runway. And I used to tell them if they did little girls' clothes, I'd run. But they didn't have Project Runway for kids. So I was out. Now then, we're going to turn this right like this. And we're going to turn that lining on the inside, right like this. Right like that. You see that? How pretty that looks? And our collar's going to go right here, okay? So I'm going to take this over there and I'm going to turn it and press it. And I'll be right back. All right, y'all are wonky again. Y'all must be tired because you're not wanting to sit up straight. Oh, well, y'all just going to have to be crooked. There you are. You're straightened up a little bit. All right, now then, for our collar, I cut 2 strips the width of the fabric, 42 inches. Cut 2 of them. Okay? One of them I'm going to cut in half. Right like this. And I'm going to sew it on each end of this. And the reason I did that is because I did not want a seam in the center front of my collar. I want the seams in the back where they're going to hang down and not be as noticeable. And I'm going to sew this. Right like so. Just like that. Now then, I'm going to take this over there to the ironing board. And on one side, I'm going to press in about 1/4 of an inch. My seam allowance, okay? Just like this, all the way down the side. And then I'm going to find the center of it, right like this. So I'll know that this is my center that goes in my center front. All right? So let's go get that pressed and I'll be back. All righty. Now then, I found the center right here. This way. Here's the center. We're going to find the center of this. Right like this. And we're going to line this up. Right here's the center. What did I do? Done lost the center, y'all. Here's the center of this. Pretty sides together, match those center points. Put you a clip or a pin in it. And you want to catch all of this. Okay? All the way around. You want to make sure that you catch it all. Let me get these clips. I don't like pins. No, I do not like pins. Now, wait a minute. Maybe we're supposed to sew. I don't think we are. Let me double check what this actual pattern says. And then I'll be right back. No, you do not. But you have to leave some. I wonder how much you leave. Hold on. I'm going to read this just a little bit. Okay, this is where the actual size of the collar comes into play and where they're telling you to put buttons and so forth. And I don't want to do that because, you know, I don't do things the way they're supposed to be done ever, 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 ever. I tend to like to make them my own. So I measured that actual piece because I'm going to put this on the front just like this. Right up into around here. Just like so. And then the back goes, this is the center of the back piece right here. And that's going to go right like that. Okay, and we're going to pin that right there. And then we're going to make this come up here. And this just matches. Okay, it actually just matches. I don't know if it's supposed to. I don't know. But I do know that that's a little bit long, so I'm going to trim that off just a little bit. Not like that, so that will be easier to sew and see. See and sew, see and sew. All right, there we go. Now then, here is the center point. Turn this back in under. So we're going to stitch all that down here in a minute. Look at that. We got to cut all that off. At least we're going to see. We're going to see how this piece fits. Okay, let's come around the other side of the front. We've done that. All right, let's bring this up here and lay it right there. And that comes back almost to right there. All right, so this is good. So I can trim that off. Just this top part right here. See that? I'm just trimming that off. Okay. Now then, bada bing, bada boom. We're going to lay these right here, pretty sides together. Put us a clip in it. Right like that. Come right around here. Make sure all of our edges are lined up. All pretty. And pull this up here, right like that. So that will sew right up there. Just like that. All right. There is our top. This is the way it's going to look. Oh, this is turning out so much cuter. So much cuter. Yes, it is. All right, now then, we're going to sew this on. right around through here. And I'm going to use a 1/4 of an inch seam right here with this serger, and I'm going to serge this. Pulling out my pins and taking off my clips when I get to them. Make sure everything gets caught. Uh-oh. That came out of where it's supposed to be. So let's get it put back. Let's stick a pin in it down here to hold it. Okay, let's try this again. Okie doke. Y'all, this is just about finished. We got to do it. Didn't quite catch all of it. Not right there. So let's flip it over. Make sure we've got it all caught all the way around. There's a little place right up here. So I'm just going to double stitch it. Just going to double stitch it. Okay, let's make sure we got it all on this side. Nope, right there. Just a little bitty place right there. But we're going to catch it right now. All right, now we got it all caught. Now then, we're going to take it and we are going to turn it. We're going to press this. We're going to turn this right like this. And we're going to pin it in place after we press it. Right like that. Turn that down all the way out through here. We're going to turn this other side up and press, and then turn this down, just like this. And then I'm going to decide about how long we think we need it. Let's lay it down here. Pull this together and see if we need it this long. We're going to tie us a bow like we would wear it. Pull together, just like that. Tie it in a bow. And we can cut some of this off. Let's cut it off about right here. Because we don't need all that. So we don't even need to worry with making it. And this we will turn up like this to make our ends all pretty. Yes, we will. All right, now then, let's go press all this. We got to get us some red thread. We need 2 spools of red thread because, you know, I like to double needle top stitch because I just think it gives it such a professional finish. And we've got to have us a red bobbin because, after all, it gives it a professional finish, right? And we've got to stitch this right here all the way up through there. With red on the top and white on the bottom. so that it's not showing. Because we want that to be finished on the inside as well. But first, we're going to go ahead and add our skirt. We still got mic. Yeah, we still got a mic going. You know, I have to keep a look on these things because you never know. It's just one of those you never know kind of things. Alrighty, now then, let's get our skirt. And let's see exactly where we need to cut it off, because we need to make sure that all this is straight. And it doesn't match up, does it? Because I just kind of cut things willy-nilly. That's the way I do things. All right, here's our back with the seam. Here's the back with the seam. I do not know if this is going to be the right size or not. Does it have a side seam? Well, here's the back. This is the back right here. No, look at there. How did I do that? I don't know. Honest to goodness, I do not know. But I did. I guess because I measured it, didn't I? Or the sewing gods were like really going, she needs to do this good today, so we're going to give her some help. Going to help her out because she needs it today. Because Lord knows I do, don't I? Match your side seams. I can't believe that all my seams just are coming out. To me, that's just amazing because stuff like this never happens to me. Let's flip this down inside there. All that goes down inside there. Lay this out. Okay, now then, let's see what we got going on right here. This is going to have to be trimmed off, I believe. Right here, just a little bit. Just trim that just right there a little bit. Get that a little straighter. Trim that off just a little bit. Now then, let's get all this pinned on here. Want to make sure you're getting all 3 layers. This is not as long as I really wanted it to be, but good Lord, what have I got going on here? Let's get this all straightened out here, squared away. All right, let's sew this on here if we've got it all on here, right? So sure we got it all pinned up here good. All righty, let's sew our skirt on. All right, y'all, we're just about finished. Just about finished, and it's 10 minutes to 10. We're doing good tonight. Oh, mercy, y'all, I'm about to run out of thread. All right, now we got our skirt sewn on it. So let's look at it. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness gracious. Is this not adorable? Look at this. Is this not absolutely adorable? Is this not precious? And I am going to hem it up a little bit because it's not, it hits me at a strange place now. But I left it long so I could hem it up. But is it not just cute as it can be? Of course, it'll come up more right in here, like this. So I'll probably end up hemming it, turning it up about like that. Isn't it cute? It will be precious time I get it finished and this big bow at the back. Let's finish it up. We're going to stitch all the way around here, all the way around here. Turn you down. We're going to stitch all this and all this and all the way down to the ends of our bow ties. And we're going to stitch up the back here. Right here, we got to stitch this together. And then we have an absolutely precious dress with no exposed seams except for our serge seams on the inside. One dress made from another one. Yes, we have one dress that was made from another one. We added this a little bit of fabric. And we've got the cutest little farmer's market dress. That's what I'm going to call this, the farmer's market dress. Y'all, I can't wait to wear this. I might have to wear it this week. I hope it fits. That's where I had to take it out to sew up the seam right there. That was the slit. But since I'm going to turn it back under and turn it up a little bit and hem it, I can handle that. All right, I'm going to finish this. I'm going to turn y'all off, but I'll bring you back once I get it finished and try it on. And here's my dress. All top stitched, all finished. I did come in and put a couple of darts here because this was like going, and it was way big. So I came in and added me a couple of darts here after the fact, but that's fine. They're on the inside. I'm good with that. But it fits very nicely. I'm very pleased with it. Very, very, very pleased with it. Because I loved this fabric. I just thought it said summer, and it was just so much fun that I just could not leave this dress that was on clearance at TJ Maxx. I had to bring it home with me, and I did. And so, you all, if you find things in a store that you just love the fabric of, but it's the wrong size, think about, what can I make with this fabric? Don't think about, can I wear this? No, and hang it back up. Think about, what can I turn this into? And this is what I turned this into. And I added the red, and I was able to keep this, which I was planning to do the red, and then, all of this trim out of this. But it looks more like it was meant to be put together this way by just adding the red trim. And I love it. I love it. I didn't want too much red with it. So I really loved it. And I love the high waist that I gave it. Because as we get older, we tend not to have that pretty little waist anymore. It tends to go away after we've had babies and gained a whole bunch of weight and not lost that weight and gained it back and lost it and gained it back. And, this yo-yo up and down kind of thing that we do as very mature women. And I will not say old, because I am not old. Staying as young as possible for as long as possible. My mama used to say, when you hit 30, you can't have your hair long. You need to cut your hair when you get to 30. You've got to cut your hair. Well, I kept mine kind of short for many years. Not really short, but shoulder length or somewhere in this area for a long time. And I thought, you know what, to heck with this. I want it long. I'm going to let it grow because I can do more with it. And to heck with what my mama used to say. There's no rules about how long your hair can be. Women in the old days, their hair was long and they wore it up all the time. Very sophisticated. We're going to bring that back. But here's our dress that we thrifted. I'm very pleased with it. I absolutely love, 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 love it. And don't be afraid. Do not be scared to try new things, to buy things, to cut them up, to rip them apart, all that stuff. When you're at the Goodwill or the yard sales or wherever you tend to go thrifting, whether it's, a local thrift shop or whatever, wherever you are, and you find something that you just love, that fabric, buy it, bring it home, and put your little imagination to work. Start looking at patterns, start looking at designs, and things will pop into your head and go, I could use this, I could do that. And I get a lot of this from my mama. I'll tell you all a real quick story at the end of this video, because this is the end of it. It was my senior prom, and we were senior prom dress shopping. And this has been several years back, quite a few, in fact. And we went to a local boutique, and I found the dress. I'm like, this is the dress that I want. I just fell in love with it. Well, that dress was $350. Now, you account for inflation, and that's probably at least $1,000 now, maybe more, for a prom dress to wear one time at the age of 17. My mama said, we don't have this kind of money. We can't do this. I'm sorry. I had my heart set on that dress. Well, on the way home, Mama said, if you want me to make you one, I'll make you one. And you can tell me however you want it made. I'll do whatever you want. You will have a dress that nobody else will have, and it will be your own. So I did. I said, I like this sleeve. I want the top neckline to look like this. I want the bottom like this. I want lace to go here. I want this to be there. And I designed this dress. And my mama made that dress for me. Yes, she did. She said, well, here's a pattern. This is a sleeve. We can use that. Here's the neckline that you want in this pattern. We'll use this. I can cut the skirt. We don't need that. And every day when I would come home from school, she'd say, I need you to try this on. And she would pin and she would tuck and she would fit. Till I had a perfectly fitting, one-of-a-kind, custom-made designer prom dress for less than $100. Now, in today's money, that might be less than $200 or $300. But I had a beautiful dress, and it was made by my mama. My daughter didn't go to proms. She didn't go to her prom the junior year and her senior year. They didn't have one. It was 2020. It was COVID. They didn't get one. They finally got a graduation in the middle of the summer outside. They finally did let us have a graduation. And she had said that her class had voted and they wanted to graduate on the football field. That's where they wanted to graduate. And usually graduations were held inside. And because of COVID, guess what? They got to graduate on the football field, and we all had to stay 6 feet apart, and we all had to do all that stuff, which now in retrospect I think was all a bunch of nonsense, but I'm not going to get onto that. That's another topic. That's not sewing. So, one more thing, very, very quick before I close this video out. August 1st, my name is changing. Be sure you have hit that subscribe button. Hit the button, ring the bell, so you don't miss a video, because if you're just searching for me by Lynne the Crafty Cook, you're not going to find me. My name is changing on August 1st, and I'm not going to reveal my name just yet. I will reveal it on August 1st. I will make a post at midnight, August 1st, and that I will reveal my new name, okay? I will have new logo, new name, and by the 1st of September, I hope to have merchandise you all can go on and purchase if you want it. If you don't, well, that's just, you don't have to. But I'm trying to make a brand. That's what everybody tells me I need to do. I need to make a brand for all of this. The videos, like cooking videos that I have up right now, are going to stay right where they are. I'm not changing that at all. Okay, that's staying right where it is. But I'm also moving them to a new channel. So if you see a new channel with my face and my videos, it will be me. And that one will be Lynne the Crafty Cook. Okay? That probably will not happen before September, maybe October, because I have to download these videos and re-up these videos. But for the next year or so, you'll get a few new ones along as whatever I'm cooking. And come fall, I will be cooking more. And I will try to get you on maybe 1 or 2 new cooking videos every week if I'm doing something different or something I think you all would enjoy in the kitchen, and I can get in there and I have the time to think about it and process it. I'll make you all a cooking video. The sewing videos are all staying right here, right where they are. So if you're here for the sewing, you want to double check and make sure that you are subscribed. If you're here for the cooking, you're going to want to subscribe to the new channel. That will not be coming up now until September or October. I will come in with another big announcement as to exactly when that channel is going to be up. And as a matter of fact, I may go ahead and put it up so you can subscribe. It may not have any videos for a month or so until I get all that organized, because y'all, it's just me. I don't have any help with editing, with filming, I don't have help with any of this. Plus I've got Andy and the mister, and I've got other family obligations, and I work nonstop on YouTube. I just do. It goes through my head constantly. What do I need to be doing? And I enjoy it, and I'm loving every minute of it. But it takes time. Like right now, I've got to go downstairs and do laundry. I don't want to, but you all, I'm not going to have any clean clothes if I don't. So I've got to go downstairs and flip my laundry here in a minute. So that's what I'm saying. I do have to take a day here and there to stop and breathe and take care of daily needs for my family. So stay tuned August 1st, but be sure you are subscribed, because like I said, if you're just on there going, I'm going to search for her, just Lynne the Crafty Cook, I may not come up. I may and I may not. So you're going to want to make sure that you are subscribed to my channel. So you're not going to miss what's going on. And you're not going to miss all the goodness that's coming this fall. And of course, our Alice's quilt's coming in January. Our hip hop quilt, hopefully I'm going to get that one started in the next few days or weeks. I'm really kind of excited about that. I think I can do that one along a little bit here and a little bit there. And we can get that one will go together fairly quick, I think. But I've still got some more thinking about it to do. But here's our thrifted dress. I am tickled pink with the way it turned out. I am in love with this dress. I am. So like I said, hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit the notification bell. Give me a thumbs up if you like my videos and you like my content and all my craziness that I do up here in this sewing room, because it can get a little chaotic and crazy at times. And y'all, I keep it real. If I have to take a seam out, I tell you, I'll be back after I take this seam out, because as ye sow, so shall ye reap. Isn't that the saying? And if I tell my people all the time, when you're learning to sew, if you're not willing to take it out, you better not ever put it in, because chances are you may have to take it out. So, all right, enough jibber jabber and hoopla and all this. That's going to be all for this one. I'll see you all in the next one. Thanks for watching.